What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Going for Two. I am Q1 Humphreys. And yesterday and Friday, we saw the first round of college football playoffs, and I wanted to talk about that. It is day 21 of Going for 25 Days of Christmas, where I'm uploading every single day with hopes of growing this channel, getting more eyes on the channel, and gaining more subscribers and likes. So we have a new goal, trying to hit 400 subs by the end of January. But I know I cannot reach that goal without the help from you all. So please, please, please hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share with your folks. Now let's get right into it. Okay. We're going to go game by game, y'all. We're going to go game by game and talk about the college football playoffs. And I'm going to give my thoughts on the next round, but I won't go super duper in depth. That'll be a whole separate video. The first game I want to talk about is the number 9 seeded Alabama Crimson Tide versus the number 8 seeded Oklahoma Sooners. So the Alabama took home a 34-24 win to advance to the next round, to advance to the Rose Bowl, y'all. If you watched the first quarter and cut it off, you would have thought that Oklahoma was going to wash Alabama. But that is not what happened. Oklahoma took a 17-0 lead and then gave up 27 unanswered points before they finally got back on the board at the beginning of the fourth quarter. But I say this, y'all. Coming into the game, I said it in my preview video. I said that the Oklahoma defense is so very good. It's so very great. But their offense has been an anchor for them all year long. And we saw that through the first quarter. They were getting after Ty Simpson, making life tough for him, not allowing him to get a rhythm. And their offense was playing good as well. Put up 17 points. And then the game just shifted. The game shifted when the mishap on the fumble happened. And Alabama found themselves literally knocking on the door of the end zone. And I don't care how good your defense is. You got to have a really crazy defense to be able to perform over and over and over with your back against the wall. Unbelievable. The mishap on the punt led to 14-7 score. Or I'm sorry, a 17-10 score. 17-10. They got a field goal off the messed up punt. And then the pick six by Brown to end the half made it 17-17, and you can tell right then and there, okay, this is Alabama's going to take. And if you look at the stats, y'all, neither team can run the ball well. Oklahoma had over 300 yards passing. Alabama had around 280 yards passing. So if you look at the stats, it's funny. It looked like Oklahoma would have dominated the game, just like it looked in the first matchup with Alabama leading in all the stats. But like I said, it came down to the hidden yards, those hidden plays, and that made the difference in the game. You got the punt that I keep mentioning, the pick six by Brown to end the half, and then I'm gonna take it even further. You go to the fourth quarter, it's 27-17, start of the fourth quarter. Oklahoma runs down and scores on the first drive. They get a stop, get the ball back, and then they're pinned down because the punter for Alabama put the ball inside the 10-yard line. 3 and out. So now the punter is back on the field for the Oklahoma. And he absolutely shanks the kick, y'all. It goes about 20 yards and lands at the 35-yard line. That is an example of the hidden yards that I'm talking about. The yards that comes on special teams. The yards that come on interceptions. The yards that do not pop up on the play. That do not pop up on the stat sheet for your offense. That was the difference in the game for Alabama. And once the door opened back up, they kicked it through and ran through it. They ran through it. You know, so Alabama went out and took that game. Oklahoma's offense definitely locked up over the course of that third quarter. They really shut down during the third quarter. And it was just tough. You know, Oklahoma, they're the only team in college football playoff history to lose a 17-point lead twice. They did this to Georgia in 2018 and doing it again on Friday to the Crimson Tide. But I will say I give credit to Brent Venables. This team was very good. Brent Venables has a couple of national championships as a defensive coordinator. I think he needs to find something next season for the offense because Mateer should be going. I don't know if Mateer's a senior or not, but they got to find some offense to put with that defense. But I think if the defense is anywhere as good as it was this year, they may be back in the mix next season, but we'll see what happens. Alabama versus IU. I think it's gonna be a good game. We'll see what happens. I think IU's defense is way better. Is not better, but it's probably just as good as Oklahoma's defense. But their offense is way better than Oklahoma's offense. So we'll see what kind of Alabama we see next week, and we'll see how IU plays. But that should be a good one. Moving on to the next game, I want to talk about this Miami and Texas A&M game, y'all. A 10-3 win for the Miami Hurricanes. We did not see a touchdown until the last minute of the game. It was 0-0 at halftime, 3-3 going into the fourth quarter, and it looked like it's going to be a overtime game in the single digits, y'all. Now, people say this game was bad. I personally enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy those games that are slugfest and defensive chess matches, and you gotta make a play on offense. But I will say this: Texas A&M, they did not execute on opportunities. You got the Malachi Tony fumble. You get the ball in field goal range. They get no points. That is not acceptable. And then to end the game off, driving down the field, getting to the 5-yard line, and throwing an interception inside the end zone in that game. But as much as I want to talk about the Texas A&M offensive struggles, they struggle for a reason. That Miami defense was balling. They were balling. They shut down the run. Something that we talked about in the preview video. They shut down the run. They got back Keontae Scott. And Keontae Scott was a game wrecker. Him and Bain lived in the backfield. I think they both had like 5 sacks combined. They dominated the game. And they did a good job of getting after Marcel Reed, making Marcel Reed uncomfortable, and making him a lot worse of a player than he actually is. Incredible. Miami, this is another team to me that I feel like this defense is good enough to where they can compete with somebody. This defense is good enough where they're going to be able to compete with Ohio State. They're going to be able to compete. But offensively, I am just not at all impressed with offensively. Carson Beck had 14 completions for 100 yards. Their offense had been non-existent up until the Mark Fletcher run for 50 yards on their scoring drive to win the game. Non-existent on the offensive end. That's going to be a problem that's against a very good Ohio State defense. We'll see how that game goes. Like I said, I'm going to say my predictions for the preview video that's coming later this week. Now, we got the 2G5 games. The 2G5 games, I didn't watch a snap of them games, y'all, because I knew how they were going to go. We saw Ole Miss and Tulane pretty much have the exact same score, almost the exact same score as that matchup of week 4, 41-10. Ole Miss wins. It was just dominant. I felt like Ole Miss. I said it in the preview. I keep saying that because, you know what I'm saying, I got to push my concept. But the coaching is not going to be an issue when your talent is just so much better than other talent. Side Tulane had a good season, but Ole Miss is just way too talented for them. Moving on to the JMU versus Oregon game. Oregon blew that game open very quickly, and then JMU started to score when they put the second or third stringers in. Shout out JMU. They had a great season, but we knew they did not have a chance against Oregon. So this is what I propose to fix the G5s. Because, and you know what? I want to say Tulane's coach said it. Tulane's coach said it after the game in the press conference. He said, yeah, man, I don't think we did a good job at showing the committee that G5 teams should be in the playoffs. We didn't do a good job. We ruined the case that these smaller schools should get a chance to compete for a national championship. And he's right. I think the committee in the college football does not need to have 2 G5 schools in. And I understand that wouldn't have happened if Virginia would have won the ACC. I understand that. But I think for these G5 schools, let's have a play-in game to get in. You got the top 11 teams. I said it a while ago. Get rid of the auto bids. Let's take the best teams in the country and put them in the playoffs. And if you want to include a G5, let's do a play-in game. So it would have been JMU versus Tulane. Winner is the 12th seed and they go play Oregon. Because I do believe, let's at least, give teams some kind of reward for having the good season that they had. But 2 of them teams in there is not acceptable. And having 2 games that people, if you are not fans of Oregon, if you are not fans of Ole Miss, or you're not fans of JMU or Tulane, you probably didn't have that ball game on at all. Probably not. But I think a play-in game, similar to how the March Madness does the first four in college basketball to win and whoever wins the first four game can go actually get in the tournament. They need to do that. They need to do that with college football. And how would I do that? If the top 11 teams already include the four conference champions, then so be it. You know, this year it would have been a play-in game to get, JMU or Tulane, and Notre Dame would have been in at 11. I think that's an absolute win. It brings more better football, more football. I don't know who loses besides the team that loses the G5 play-in game. But I think that's the way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, I don't think the G5 schools would feel bad about it, because I don't think there's gonna be another time really that two G5 schools get in. So I think that's how you fix this. You know what I'm saying? Give them guys a chance, but make them earn their way to get in, despite them having to beat their conference, which probably is not that good. I know the Sun Belt's not good at all. And I'm a Georgia Southern alumni, so I know the Sun Belt's not good. But, man, we're going to have a preview video. I'm gonna look at these matchups, give my thoughts, take my notes, and give my predictions later on this week. But, yeah. Put in the comment section your thoughts, your reactions to the games this weekend. But until next time, going for two, we out of here. Yeah.